Yo, JD here, and as you can see, we are back on F1 22 as always. And in today's video, it's going to be another one of those where we have a bit of a open discussion, and I've been ranting quite a bit recently about this game, kind of tearing it apart and being pretty negative, which I know probably gets a little bit boring at times. But in this video, it's going to be one where I'm going to be talking quite constructively about the game itself and try not to put some personal emotion into it if I can, but just trying to be as constructive as I can to hopefully do something or go towards something in creating an even better game for the future. And again, as always, please put down what your thoughts are on each of the topics I will be discussing, and what do you think needs to be changed for F1 23, which I know is a long way off, but right now they should be right in the development of that game itself. So you never know, whatever you put here, maybe, just maybe, will go to one of the developers and they could actually implement it. Fingers crossed. But in this video, we're going to go through a list of topics on the things that I've kind of disliked the most about F1 22, kind of the main components of the game itself, and why, in my opinion, and again, this is just my opinion, some people may find this the best F1 game they've ever played, which is completely their own thoughts, and if they feel that, then good for them. But for me, and I feel for quite a few others who I've spoken to, they feel this game has become a bit more of a draining experience, and I believe some of the things I'll be talking about here are some of the main reasons for that. So starting off with the first thing is the loading times and the multiplayer experience, which, when I say loading times, you might think, you know, what are you talking about? For me, I just feel like you're just waiting around on this game so much, whether that's you're loading into a race. I know there's a lot of factors involved, such as people on the old gen console, so PS4, Xbox, not the Xbox Series X, and different PC levels and things like that. But I just feel even when you're getting to that stage of waiting for people to load into the game, you spend so much time between races just doing absolutely nothing, and even just a countdown for things as well. I just feel like there is a lot of waiting around in this game, far more than other games I played, such as Call of Duty, other games in the past, even just previous F1 games. They were just much snappier in terms of actually getting into a game itself, and a lot of the time you're just staring at a black screen when racing on F1 22. And no, I'm on the PS5, on the Xbox Series X. No, my PC is pretty handy as well. Got the link to that in the description if you do want to check that out. But yeah, a lot of people have also said the same. In terms of the multiplayer experience, I find it's very difficult to find lobbies. I feel the crossplay is also very unreliable, and when you have crossplay enabled and you're trying to add an EA friend or invite someone from another platform, quite a lot of the time it doesn't even work. You can't even find someone, it doesn't even load your friends list as well. So I really feel the crossplay doesn't really function properly, and quite often people just disconnect as well. And it's quite rare that you get to spend a bit of time on multiplayer and after an hour you're still in the same lobby that hasn't disconnected as well. I also feel that the ranked game mode is a little bit of a gimmick, and no one really kind of plays that seriously. I know they're trying to go after kind of a iRating kind of experience, but not really enough people play ranked at all, and there just doesn't feel like there's really an incentive to aim towards anything online, apart from if you're doing a league race. No, there is no ranking system next to your name. You have to click into the super license to see it, and in other games such as Call of Duty, for example, that's why there's so much incentive online to rank up as much as you can. And yeah, I think that should be the case in not just a ranked mode, but in just any mode that you do. If you're just doing open lobbies, then you should be able to rank up there, and if you are being cleaner, then you will be rewarded for it there. I just feel like there shouldn't really be two separate game modes, in my opinion. There should be either open lobbies or private lobbies where you don't rank up or anything at all. So I just feel there needs to be a lot more incentive to when you are playing online, and just a lot more awards available. This also leads me on to the customization of the games itself, which I have mentioned in the past. There's probably some licensing issues and copyrights and a few loopholes that you have to go through, because I know on games such as Call of Duty you can pretty much almost customize anything you want, such as in Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3. I know things have changed a little bit since then, but I feel for what you get in the game is not really that much in terms of the car liveries, the player cars, the helmets. I just feel like there isn't really much to offer, even when you purchase some new ones with the pit coin. There's not really much customization. Sometimes you can't even change the color or anything on some of them, and with the sponsor decals and stuff as well, I just don't feel there's, again, really any incentive. And if you look at the livery I have on right now, it's it's just a bunch of lines and that's it. I think the customization, although there might be some limiting factors with the publishing rights and all that stuff, because I know F1 is a very strict business, I feel like they could be doing a much better job in that department. And that's the main thing with the online multiplayer, just have a much better incentive. I know there's other issues such as the dedicated servers and all that stuff, which I think is a given as well, but just make it so people actually want to play online itself. I don't think there's really so much of an incentive right now. The next point I would say is the contact model itself, and on previous F1 games I've never really had an issue with the contact model, but on this one here I feel like, whether you want to call it unrealistic or not, because there's a lot of things that are unrealistic about this game, and even if the contact model on here was fairly realistic, I feel like the car just spins far too easily from the smallest amount of contacts. And with the handling already not being realistic, I feel like it should be a bit easier to save the car. And I think that's one of my main gripes of this game as well, is your ability to catch a slide or catch a mistake, or if someone makes contact with you, it's almost impossible to catch that. There really is nothing you can do at all. And I feel like making that a bit easier and a bit more consistent, and the contact model not just being so sensitive, it's going to make the online experience a lot less frustrating. And the goal of this company is to get new players into the game, so a lot of these drivers will be very new to the series. If you're making the handling unrealistic and to satisfy the casual player, then maybe doing something like this to actually make it a less frustrating experience. But again, just let me know what your thoughts are. But I felt like this handling model, or not really the handling model so much, but it's the contact model as well, has been one of the worst I've ever experienced on a Formula 1 game. And not to say that you should be ramming, T-boning someone and you shouldn't be spinning at all, but sometimes I just feel from just the tiniest of touches, the car is just very, very unforgiving, and there's just no real option for you to kind of counter that in any way at all. My next point is high gears, which we have done a video about before. I just feel like, although the handling's not realistic again, that the gears you have to use in order to really be in that top percent or top 10% of drivers is just far, far too high. And I just feel like it's just a bit excessive in the gears you have to use, and in real life they use much lower gears in this, but again, it's not so much about it trying to be more realistic, because I understand it doesn't have to be realistic, but I feel like it rewards players who are just better at the game, who are just carrying more minimum speed. So this is people, again, who are brand new to the series, who've been watching real life F1. Their natural instinct is probably to use a lower gear. So like going through these corners here, probably would have been maybe second going through there. And they maybe don't understand that you have to carry enough minimum speed first in order to benefit the most from using a higher gear. So no, the game wants to kind of reward casual players and get casual players into it, but I feel like how it operates, it doesn't really kind of reward them as well. And it's just my personal opinion. I just don't like the feeling of using high gears. It just feels very unnatural when you're using a fourth or fifth gear in a corner, which should be normally a second or a third gear. I just don't think it looks particularly good. And if they want to go towards more of a bit of a realism, then I think this is something they need to address. But again, please let me know what your thoughts are, because I know there are probably people out there who really do like it and probably want it to stay. But I feel like the gear selection for a number of games now, not even just this game but last game as well, has been quite high, and there should be more benefits by using a little bit of a lower gear, as they do in real life. My next point is the low downforce. I feel like low wings is the norm on this game. My main issue with it is that with low wings, compared to using a higher wing, the braking distance doesn't really change that much at all. And neither does the tyre wear. I've actually done a little bit of a test on this recently, which I will probably release a video on soon. But using very low wings should be much worse on the tyre wear. In fact, it's not, which kind of ties in again to the high gears, that people who can carry that minimum speed, and they like to carry the minimum speed during the corner, they're going to benefit much more from this. So casual players, new players, aren't going to benefit from that at all. And you know, we have the option of 0 to 50 on the table, but there's only a handful of tracks where we actually go over 30 in most cases. It's very rare that we actually go over 30 most of the time when you're doing a league race or even open lobbies and stuff like that. It's only probably tracks like, you know, this track here, Monaco, Zandvoort, Hungary, you know, that's it really. Most other tracks you're probably going underneath 30 most of the time when you're trying to be competitive in the race itself. So I really feel like having that access to 0 to 50 wings is kind of useless really at this stage. So I feel like high downforce should be much more useful in this game. And you know, if you're going to be much slower in a straight line, then you should have much better tyre wear and tyre temperatures as well. I feel like the effect isn't really enough for what it should be. And the next thing is the ERS and the DRS balance of the game. And I think this is one of my biggest issues that I have, and the reason why I feel the racing is not that enjoyable in this game. I feel like the ERS is far too powerful in my opinion. It is just very OP. The DRS in the slipstream on the flip side is very weak. So what that really creates is a scenario where you don't really want to be the car behind, you want to be the car ahead. And the other problem is also I found is that when you are the car behind, since DRS is not that powerful at all, so you're still having to work quite hard when you're behind someone to keep with them, that you don't really save any extra ERS at all. So really most of the time you're just wanting to be the car ahead, and I think that's why we see in esports and also in a lot of league racing as well, and especially in open lobbies, where if someone has ERS in front of you, they can just defend, and you know, you don't really get a slipstream effect. The DRS doesn't really have an effect as well. It just makes it very difficult to make progress on this game at all, especially in league racing and also in open lobbies as well. You really just want to be the car ahead all the time, and I really do feel that the overtake button should be a little bit less powerful, so not insanely less powerful, but also the DRS to be a lot more powerful than it is, because I think the way the balancing of this game is set up at the moment, it just doesn't really make that great racing, or as good racing as it potentially could be as well. And I think that was one of the things that definitely needed to be tweaked at the start of the game, but wasn't instead. But again, just let me know what your thoughts are on that. And just to finish off nice and quickly, stop including useless features in the game. And I think we have this every year. For this game, it was F1 Life and Supercars, which I think is just a complete waste. And if you want my honest opinion, I think it was just a marketing tool of the game itself. Because one thing that Codemasters and EA are good at is marketing a game, making it look great. And I understand from a company perspective, every time a company launches a new product, there has to be a new feature that gets them the sales. And you know, that means sometimes making out that there's a brand new feature that's going to be really revolutionary, but you know, maybe turns out not to be as useful as you think. So quite often I feel the marketing of the game is far better than the game itself, and instead of addressing the fundamentals, they kind of feel the need to make a new unique selling point of the game itself. But over time, I feel, because at the moment obviously there's a lot of new drivers coming into this game from the benefits of F1 and real life as itself, the Drive to Survive. There's a lot of new players joining, a lot of new fans. Over time, the reputation of the game will definitely get around much more. So although they might see some benefits now, in the long run, there could actually be a bigger knock-on effect if the game isn't living up to it year upon year, because word of mouth eventually does get around as well. But that is just my thoughts of this game and what I would like to see for F1 23. Hopefully it wasn't so much of a rant. I was just trying to be as constructive as I could. And please let me know what your thoughts are as well. Just to let you know, CoachSimmons.com, a Black Friday sale. You get 10% off on a one-to-one coaching session with me. That will actually last all the way into December, because I only have a limited amount of slots for December before the Christmas period. So thank you so much for everyone who has been joining that as well. Also into these open lobbies. Thank you so much for the support on the videos, and I'll be catching you very soon. Peace.